Welcome to Fourth Pillar Post English, weekly version of Pakistan's chaos. Pakistan isn't just at crossroads, staring into abyss of its own making. While the world spirals into geopolitical confusion, our establishment and political class are engaged in dangerous game of nerve, brickmanship and reckless miscalculations. Let's begin internationally. Israel has launched an attack on Iran. Netanyahu, facing internal political collapse, saw a war his only safe passage, and he used it. The bill that was meant to dissolve the Israeli Knesset and potentially push Netanyahu out, is gone, diluted in this chaos of missiles. America, already hesitant, is now forced to stand behind its smaller but more aggressive ally, Israel. And yet, American House is divided. Their ambassador in Tel Aviv publicly denied the two-state solution, suggesting Palestine, if it exists, should be carved out elsewhere in some other Muslim country. But then the US Foreign Office backpedaled, saying this was personal opinion. Ambassadors don't freelance, they toe the line. This contradiction screams of internal chaos in Washington. Add this to Trump's looming shadow, a man who came into power promising America first. Where is it now? Where is America first? He has delivered nothing but Ukraine is still burning, Gaza is in ruins, and now the flames have reached Tehran. All while Trump tries to maintain its own cities with Marines and National Guards. And all the win he can count are the ceasefire claims between India and Pakistan and Daesh-related optics, some handed, by the way, on a platter by Pakistan. Now here's where it gets terrifying for us. Pakistan establishment watching this chaos might be tempted to move with their personal agenda. Why? Because confusion is opportunity. A distracted world means less accountability. But this gamble is suicide. Because if international accident doesn't happen and our establishment acts anyway, it will trigger an internal accident, one that they are absolutely unprepared to contend. And there are signs of this recklessness already. Establishments' touts are encouraging them to move forward with personal agenda in terms of PTI. PTI is not backing down. Alima Khan has now made it clear. If judiciary fails, protest will escalate. Gandapur is openly talking about coming to Islamabad with arms. Munib, who speaks establishment words, is warning of full-blown rebellion in KPK. Now combine that with Balochistan unrest. Got this entire western border ready to explode, especially when Israel is on your doors crushing Iran, and especially Modi-Israel nexus still very much intact. It's the source of manpower, influence, and loyalty in the state's power structure. If that goes rogue, nothing remains intact. And while this storm brews, what does establishment is doing? It's gambling, it gambles. It plays delaying tactics. It's manipulating the judiciary. It is waiting for no any reason. Why? Because establishment believes time is on their side, but time is on no one's side. Here, especially now. Not when the economy is bleeding, not when the global powers are picking sides. Let's talk about the economy. This budget is circus. Imagine a country where salaried class pays more tax than exporters or manufacturers, where growth is negative but is projected at 4.2% for the next year, where GST is slapped on freelancers, solar panels, internet services. Freelancers, the only demographic still generating foreign exchange, are being crushed. Online marketplace are double taxed. Digital transactions face penalties. And amid all of this, our finance minister thanks IMF on the floor of House. That's not sovereignty, that's servitude. And even within the government, cracks are showing. PMLN had to insert its own man into finance ministry after the outrage over everything. People's Party leaders like Raza Rabbani cry foul over legislations. CM Murad Ali Shah is threatening with not voting for the budget, which they eventually will. But if they don't, then plan is not to have elections for the longest time and to continue its kingship without any hurdle. But we all know Pakistan People's Party will vote with the treasury for the budget because hypocrisy reigns. Meanwhile, America praises strong leadership. Visits are being scheduled, especially during Iran-Israel war. CENTCOM calls Pakistan a valuable counterterrorism partner. All this while US congressional bill continues to threaten sanctions. It's called pressure management, and it's working. The US is reminding Pakistan of its leash. At the same time, Israel, India grow bolder. In fact, if Iran fails, the axis of Israel, India becomes Pakistan's worst nightmare. Netanyahu has already said Pakistan is on the same list as Iran, radical states. Think, if Iran is subdued, Palestine is forgotten, all Iranian proxies, Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas all will be dismantled. Who will stop Israel's dominance in Middle East then? Certainly not a fractured, bankrupt, diplomatically irrelevant Pakistan. Maybe China. But even China needs reason. If Pakistan appears too tilted towards America, Beijing won't burn its fingers. And America is exploiting this perfectly. It raises Kashmir in a diplomatic meeting, not out of love for us, but to needle India. It praises Pakistan, not out of respect, but to create confusion. And Pakistan's attempt to bridge between two superpowers, quite laughable. You can't be a bridge when your strings are in one's hand, actually. And now, as our army chief travels and as our politicians boost of diplomacy, what exactly are we achieving? We rejected BRICS because India blocked us. We failed to secure water rights in Indus Treaty. India is violating it. And we can't even decide if Isaac Dar would attend a Palestine statehood conference after this US threat. Let's not pretend anymore. The power structure in Pakistan is imploding. PTI is waiting for a budget backlash to gain momentum. The establishment is waiting for international distraction to push internal adjustments. And the people, we all are waiting for the relief that never comes. This is a game of nerves. One side will eventually move, and when that happens, whether it's martial law, rebellion, or an international explosion, Pakistan's future will shift overnight. But let's dig a bit deeper. That strategic window Pakistan enjoyed due to India's diplomatic fumbles is rapidly closing. Our establishment, instead of using it wisely, is burning it in a political revenge. The hope was that international distraction would allow the domestic maneuvering, but the gamble has gone too far. The KP rebellion isn't an hypothetical anymore. The rhetoric is armed. The ideology is charged. And Balochistan is already simmering. If Iran is pushed to the wall and responds with an attack on the US bases, America will have no choice to get involved directly. And that changes everything. Pakistan's long history of bending to America will resurface. If martial law is being considered, that's the moment it would be justified under the guise of global security alignment. And what about China? Their silence is strategic. They are watching if Pakistan can hold its ground without embarrassing Beijing. But if we tilt too far west, China will drop us like a ballast. Meanwhile, Russia quietly courts Iran with promises of support and mediation. If that becomes military aid, the war expands, and we are stuck. Caught between a collapsing Middle East, a humiliated Iran, a resurgent Israel, a pressurized America, and a waiting China. Our political leaders can't even agree on a budget priorities. Our establishment is reactive, not strategic. And PTI currently only open. The real opposition is betting the system into exposing itself. And it's working. If this system cracks under the pressure, it won't be gradual. It will be explosive. The judiciary is fragile, economy is collapsing. The public is boiling, and the geopolitical stage is loaded gun. Here's the final truth. If Iran falls, we are next. Pakistan's weakness isn't geography, it's its leadership. Egos masquerading as a strategy, revenge politics disguised as a national security, And if we continue this path, there will be no window left, only wreckage. It's time to wake up.